The Gallagher Shots podcast is sponsored by Tyre Spot, the North East's leading tyre supplier with branches across the region. Tyre Spot don't just do tyres, they cover everything from servicing to wheel alignment. They can handle every aspect of your car's maintenance. For more information, visit tyrespot.co.uk. Enjoy the episode.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Gallagher Shots YouTube channel and podcast. We are here. It's the morning after a fantastic night at St. James's Park. I am your host, Kris, joined by Ben, as we look back and review the 2-0 victory against Bilbao. I'm going to start straight away, Ben. I think there was a couple of shocks in the starting lineup for me. I think the area of the field where I'm looking at is probably the right-hand side. The fact that neither Alanga or Jacob Murphy had started that game, and Eddie Howe chose to go down the option of Barnes on the right and Gordon on the left-hand side. So I was really shocked with that. Other than that, starting 11, I thought maybe there was a possibility and an argument that Jordan could be replaced with either Miley or Ramsey to a certain extent after his performances so far this season, but we will get onto that towards the end of this one because there was much improvement from there as well. Other than that, I think it was pretty much as expected. I'm not sure what your thoughts on it when you initially seen that. Obviously, we got the news early on that Asula got a knock in the warm-up, so he wasn't going to be featuring on the bench. So we knew straight away that it was going to be Big Nick Voldemort. That was going to carry on the full 90 minutes there. But any shocks for you? Anything that you would like to see different?
I think I was still really pissed off after Sunday, to be honest. You could have changed the whole team for me after how I was feeling on Sunday. I was expecting him. I was hoping he would have made more changes. I probably wasn't expecting him to because he's pretty loyal to the players. Probably one of my criticisms sometimes of him a little bit, but I thought Ramsdale had a fair shout to come in. I love Joe Linton, one of my favourite players all time at Newcastle. I was expecting Ramsey to start on Miley. I was expecting one of them to come in. Bruno as well. He said before the game that Bruno was struggling with a virus and he'd been ill all week, so I was half expecting him not to start. I definitely wasn't expecting to see Barnes on the right-hand side. Not sure what that says for if you're Alanga, if you see Barnes start there. I suppose he scored 2 goals, didn't he, the last time he played there when he came on against Benfica. So to be honest, there was a few surprises in some ways, but then you know what Howe was like. He's pretty loyal to the same players, and it paid off, to be fair, because we won the game 2-0.
It did, mate. It certainly did pay off, and Newcastle got off to a great start, let's say. So the opening, 10 minutes it is, and I think we're going to probably spend a little bit of time on this header because that is just completely defied gravity and all sorts of physics.
Didn't it? How can you have Swaz on a header? It was
how somebody can make contact with the ball with their forehead and put that spin and the curve on it. Obviously, a lot of it is to do with the delivery, which I believe it's Trips that puts a fantastic ball into the back post, isn't it? And it's a great ball. It's probably just in that lovely space. And they've mentioned afterwards that they had worked on this with the set pieces because they knew fine well they were going to get a lot of space at the back post. But Dan Burn is just completely left open. Honestly, he's got nobody around him. And he runs onto that. And if you thought that header in the cup final against Liverpool at Wembley was special, that was even better, mate. And he's mentioned it in his press. Mate. I think the goal itself, yes. The moment in the occasion, no, of course not. But the goal itself, mate, like I said, to get that sort of spin and to get that curve, the keeper's got no chance because it literally bends around the keeper. And I'm sat the other side, so I'm sat like the strawberry corner. So I can't exactly see the curvature at that point, but looking back at that goal, and I've watched it 100 times, mate. Like it's such a header, probably one of the best headers I've ever seen.
It's probably him. His 2 headers are probably the 2 best headers I think I've ever seen in a game, definitely live. I sit, like as I say, in Barty 92, so it was right in front of me. It was like a Roberto Carlos of headers. Like he's got no right. Like I didn't even think he could do that with a header. To be fair, he set it out like way outside the post and then like bent in. Top bins, it was unbelievable. I say I'm still not having it's better than the cup final one. Like that was like a thunder bastard ahead as that when he headed it down. The greatest moment ever. But it was class. Really, really good. I'm pleased for him as well because as he always does, like he gets loads of grief, Dan, doesn't he? And he deserved that. He's playing left back. He said before the game, it's not his position. He doesn't want to play there. He wants to play centre half. He's doing the job because we've got nobody else. So I thought he deserved it. On a negative, I'm saying it's a negative because I'm sticking for Dan Burn. The second one, that means he's probably in the team now until Christmas, guaranteed, regardless after scoring that. So he'll be there for a while. But no, unbelievable header. Great start as well because we needed that.
We did, and it was very fitting that on Bonfire Night, it's an absolute rocket that he scores with his head. It was just, honestly, it was amazing to see. And the reaction afterwards as well from the rest of the lads celebrating with Dan Burn. And we know, obviously, a player celebrate goals. But you could just see, once again, it was something that I feel as if we'll be missing this season. A bit of unity in there as well. And they were all buzzing for Burn. I've seen so many interviews after the game as well. And I think Bruno's the one which mentions that. That they've been joking about Dan Burn. I think that the woman that's interviewing just says, tell about Dan Burn. He just says, he's from Blythe. Like,
he loves that one, he does.
He's outstanding, Bruno. But yeah, he starts talking about Dan Burn as a character. And that they've been having a bit of a joke behind the scenes in training that he needs to score goals and asking him when his next goal is going to come from. Didn't take long. 10 minutes into the game and he bags one. And I think from that point, I think it was dominance from Newcastle. There was a couple of moments where Bilbao had a couple of opportunities. The one where their left back, I think it was number 19. Left back. He absolutely rattles the post, and it's an absolute thunderous strike. It's honestly, he hits that with some welly, like takes a shot with the left foot, and honestly, I'm surprised that that goalpost didn't snap clean in half because it was a hit. Like it was a hit. Nick Pope throughout the game, he had a couple of saves to make. I wouldn't say anything too challenging. Great save towards the second half. In the second half, they made a couple of substitutions, and one of the players, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, had a couple of shots from distance, which Nick Pope did well with. But other than that, I think Pope had a solid game. Wasn't really needed to a certain extent, but he did what was asked when needed to in those moments. A couple of the players that I want to mention before we get onto the second goal, which came in the second half, is our centre-back partnership. So I think I did the starting 11 preview, and I flirted with the idea of putting Fabian in there instead of Botman because of what Fabian can offer from the likes of diagonal balls. And I think Dan Burn mentioned this in his press match conference as well, an interview saying that they have been working on diagonal balls. And I think, like, if you want to play out, put a diagonal ball, and you know for fine well that's Fabian Shaw from those sort of positions, because Jacob Murphy on the right or whoever's on the left, he's perfect at it. But he stuck with Botman and Chow, and I want to focus a little bit on Malik Chow because what an absolute player he is. I'm not sure who got man of the match in the end, but surely he's up there, like, because he was fantastic last night.
Different class. Honestly, I know I said the lads in the group beforehand, I was pretty pro with signing him like in the summer, and there's a few question marks asked. And I'll be honest with you, I'd seen quite a bit of him play. Like I'd seen him when I went over to Milan and I watched a reasonable amount of Italian football. But I thought he had the promise to come in and do well. I'll be honest, I never thought he was going to come in. Like he looks like the finished product. Like he's literally got absolutely everything. He's great in the air. He's really fast. We've missed pace at the back for quite a while. He's great on the ball. Them diagonal crosses, passes that you're talking about. He's different class that. He can do it all. He's good with his other foot as well. He reads the game really well. It's funny when you watch him. He used to get a bit of stick when he was at Milan, and he used to start them all the time, but he'd still get a bit of stick from their fans. And I watched an interview with him, I don't know if you saw it, about 3-4 weeks ago when his songs started coming out. And he looked like a kid at Christmas. He was like so happy that the fans were singing his name, and he said he'd heard it. And he just looks like he's came somewhere, he feels really at home, and he's hit the ground running. And he just looks like his games went to a different level. I think he's up there, like, he's looking like, honestly, this is probably a bit grand to say, but your next, like, Woodgate kind of signing. I can't remember in my lifetime, in what Newcastle in my life now, that I don't think we've had a better, well, 4 including Shaw, but 3 especially, centre halves. I don't think we've ever had like those, like you've got
we're blessed with selections at the minute. Yeah. We really are. The thing which I love about Chow is how composed he is on the ball, especially when let's say he's running back towards his own goal with the ball. A lot of defenders, a lot of centre backs will just play that safely and just pop it back to Pope and let Pope kick it out with touch half the time. But with Chow, what you see from him, he's reading that his surroundings constantly, and almost every single time he will look for an option himself with trying to take the ball away from himself, whether that's dropping a shoulder, moving to his right or his left. He's just honestly so composed on the ball, and by him doing that rather than passing back to the goalkeeper, you're just literally getting rid of that press which is coming from behind you, whether that's 1, 2, 3 players closing the other players around you. By him shifting his body, turning the shoulder and away with the ball, we're straight back on the attack, and we're creating once again, rather than starting right back from Pope. Yeah. And he done it so many times last night, or at least attempted to do it, and searched around him for that opportunity. And like I can't get over how good he is. Like, and if we can go the full season keeping him fit, and hopefully keeping Botman fit as well, because I still think there's a big question mark over Botman as well, and how many games he can play consecutively. Yeah. That is a very, very, very strong partnership.
Do you know, I think something we'll probably come on to in a little bit, but I think it's important that Howe manages that, because Thiaw did get a few muscle injuries last year. We know Botman has had his injury problems in the past. Like, I think it's really important now going forward. We saw Lewis Hall come back last night, and when you've got Hall, Botman, Thiaw, Tino, or Trippier playing at fullback, we've got 4 players at the back who are really comfortable on the ball. Like, they're all technically excellent. I know you've pointed out in pods before that the fullback thing's been a real issue, for us going forward. And I think obviously you could see that on Sunday as well. I think on that point though, it's important that we rotate them. We don't run them into the ground. We've got 3, arguably 4 very good centre halves there. I think now, especially with Hall coming back, it's important that some games you just say to Botman or to Thiaw, right, you're gonna have a week off. You're gonna have like a rest. I think what's playing into our hands a little bit, it's mental when you think about it. But Botman and Thiaw have been excellent this year. Like, probably the 2 of the best centre halves in the Premiership, arguably. Neither of them play for the country, so they're going to have 2 weeks off coming up, which helps us massively, to be fair, because they're getting 2 weeks rest.
It's a good shout, to be fair, Ben. I never even thought about that. It's a good shout.
I don't know how both of them aren't in the international teams, to be fair, like, because they're better than the players who are playing in front of them. But for us, it's ideal, like, really, really is, because come obviously Brentford on Sunday, them two, well, most of that back 4 is going to have 2 weeks off.
Yeah, you're right. You've hit the nail on the head. You really have. I think if we move into the midfield, I don't think that there's many other things which we can say that we haven't already said about Sandro Tonali. Once again, last night, the engine on him. I honestly think he plays in every single position within one game of football. He just covers every blade of grass, and like I said, his engine. Right up until the dying moments of a game, he's still closing balls down. He's still dropping back to defend when needed be. He's covering players if they've gone on runs. He's just dropping into their positions. Like, his football knowledge is second to none. He knows exactly where to be and when to be there.
Yeah, he's world class. Like, he's an 8 out of 10 every single week. Do you know how some people say, "Oh, it can be like a 7, it's good." Like, he's an 8 as a minimum every single week.
From West Ham.
Apart from West Ham, I won't forget about that. I even didn't think he was as bad as the rest of them, but the whole team was terrible then, to be fair. But like, his energy's class. Last night was about the last 5 minutes, and he's meant to be a 6, and he was pressing from the front. He was chasing their keeper down, and I was like, "Oh, just rest. Game's over. Don't do your hammy. Just like." Chill a little bit, but he's unbelievable. Like, it must be great to play with, because he does so much running. Like, he must be brilliant. If you're another midfielder,
he must take so much pressure off the players around him. Like, he has to, just because he's so reliable. And for the likes of Bruno, it must be an absolute luxury to play alongside him.
Oh yeah, and I think he helps Bruno massively, because Bruno doesn't have those legs. So him playing in there, he covers for Bruno quite a bit, and he gets the ball to him early. And it's not just as if like. Everybody's raving about Caicedo at the moment, and rightly so. He's a top class player, but Tonali can do all of that without the ball. But then when he gets the ball, he's class on it as well. Like, he's like an attacking midfielder, the way he can pick a pass, or his crossing's brilliant. He always looks like he's going to get you a goal. He's got the lot.
Yeah, he's got everything in his locker. Of course he does, mate. Another player which I want to mention as well before we'll go on to the second goal is Nick Voldemort. It doesn't get his score sheet. I think he could have done. I think it's a great chance where he's up 20 foot in the air. A great headed chance. I think it does take a bit of a deflection beforehand. And he tries his best. But his link-up play, and I say this every single week, if we had 11 players on that field that could keep the ball to their feet with that close control like he does, we would win every single league possible. Like, honestly, would beat Chicago Bulls with Michael Jordan in it. Like, we are literally the best if that was the case, mate. And I know a lot of came about his link-up play and how he has to drop back and he's not in the box as much as what we would like to see him in the box. But he's bringing other players into play, and that's exactly what you want. He's kind of playing that number 10 role, really, isn't he? From what we're seeing, dropping and linking everybody in. And once again, just that close control that he has with the ball at his feet. I've seen nothing like it from a striker. Nothing like that, mate.
It's class. Yeah, his first touch is brilliant. He brings players. I still think we're getting used to like how good he is and and what he can do. I think what helped yesterday is I'm sure we'll touch on the player in a second, but we changed tact a little bit when we had the ball. So when we got the ball, Joe Linton pushed up 10, 15 yards. He played like close to Voldemort, and I mean,
it's very similar to what we saw the first game where Voldemort played, and Joe Linton was just pushing on, and Joe Linton had a couple of opportunities because of that. It was exactly the same last night.
Because he creates loads of space, because one of the centre halves has got to go with him, and when that centre half goes with him, like, there's just loads of space in behind. And like you're saying, his first touch and that's class. Like he's so good on the ball. He'll create so much space for everybody else in the team. Like Joe Linton did yesterday. I half think like if you're a winger, you must love playing with him, because like Harvey Barnes, he should be made for Harvey Barnes, who's always on the shoulders, always making runs, like going in towards goal. Like he should be perfect for him, because he's a perfect foil, because he gets the ball and he looks for a pass. I think he gets frustrated sometimes because he's kind of on a different wavelength to our players sometimes. Like he gets the ball and he's looking for the pass, and sometimes I don't think they're making the right run, or they're not actually getting him behind them.
I agree. I think he gets frustrated because, like you said, he collects the ball, turns and looks for that pass, and the wingers just aren't pressing in those dangerous areas just for him to release. And you can see him get frustrated. You can hear the fans getting frustrated as well, because there's a few times around me, and this wasn't just Barnes, Alanga, Gordon, Murphy, whoever it was on the right hand side at this point, but they all seem to get to the halfway line and just stop without the ball, rather than pushing on. And you could hear people getting frustrated, and you're thinking, is that a tactical plan or what? Because especially when Alanga came on, like, we know the pace that he has, but like he was just getting close to the fullback, whether that be Hall, Dan Burn at the time, then just stopping and not making that blistering run. You think, what's going on here? And you can understand why Voldemort is getting a bit annoyed with that as well, because if he's dropping deep, then there's nobody there ahead of him if they're not pushing on. Apart from Jordan when he does make those moves.
And he was the only one that really did it. And like you say, when Alanga, that should be their game, really. Like they should be just bombing on. And you can see, I don't think I could be wrong here. I should have probably checked before I did this, but I don't think he's got an assist for it yet, which is mental because he's passing that so good. I just don't think we're making the most of it quite yet. Kris, the lad that sits next to me, he was saying last night when he I think he misplaced the pass. I think he said that's about the first time all season I think I can remember him giving the ball away. Because he just doesn't. Like, he gets the ball, it sticks. Either gets a foul or he plays it off.
Yeah, it's like glue, mate. He honestly, he's a joy to watch. He really is. He's a hell of a lot better than what I was expecting. Like, he's a great footballer. And the technical ability that he has is fantastic. And everybody obviously says, like, you never see this from a player that's 100 foot tall and stuff like that. But Jesus Christ, like he's good, very, very good at it.
Do you know who reminds me a little bit of? The club you're closest I can is probably Berbatov.
Yeah, no, shout. Yeah.
He's the only player I can think of where he's got that like unbelievable touch, and he plays a little bit like him. Like, he reminds us a little bit of Berbatov. I think he could be as good or better, to be fair. He's that good.
bring on the arrogance as well. If he gets that arrogance from
That would be
Birmingham, I
nice.
love a player that has a bit of arrogance. It turns into a bit of a shithouse. That's what I want from Big Nick Voldemort. I want a bit of shithousery, and it's going to come. It's definitely coming this season. You can see it boiling. It's there, ready to come through the surface. But I can't wait for that moment. Him and Joelinton just grabbing people by the throats and that. Bring it on. Let's get on to Joelinton's goal. Came in at a great time because I was worried, mate, that we're creating these opportunities and we just weren't finding that crucial second goal. We've done it so many times this season where you go up 1-0, then just nothing seems to happen from the back of that. We saw it against Fulham, where it's just only a matter of time where the team come into it and get that equaliser. We got a goal at a very, very good time to make it 2-0. And it's another header. It's a great ball in from Harvey Barnes. He recycles the ball back in after trying to take a shot. And it's a nice little dink, a little floated ball into there. And Joelinton's 7 yards out. Kind of miss it. And Joelinton's needed that because I've said so many times, and I keep on getting me soapbox about this, that Joelinton hasn't been very good this season. I'm being polite.
No,
there.
he hasn't.
He's needed a good performance. He came on the other week. I can't remember the fixture it was, but he came as a substitute and he looked a hell of a lot better. It might be in the Spurs game, possibly.
Yeah.
He came on as a substitute, and we were seeing the old Joelinton at that point. Last night, I thought it was great last night. Really, really good. Massive improvement from Joelinton. Gets the goal as well. That's exactly what he needs as well. Get his confidence up a little bit and see what happens from here.
Yeah, I think, he was. As you know, I'm Joelinton's probably biggest fan. I love him, but this season's been hard to defend him, to be fair. Like, he's not been on it. He looked fitter yesterday. He got into chances. I always say with Joelinton, all the midfielders we've got, he should be the one that gets close to double figures. Because when he was playing well, like last year and the year before, he'd always get into a couple of chances a game. Considering he used to be a striker, his finishing's not the best. I mean, I was happy for him in some ways when he missed that one when he rounded the keeper when he was offside and he hit the ball over the bar. I was like,
he must have been miles offside there, mate, because it didn't even get checked.
No,
well, it did, but it didn't have to.
I was thinking, Jesus, he's going to get. But then he keeps going. He got the header. He's great in the air. He's a big lad. Like you say, a great ball from Harvey Barnes. I think Harvey Barnes' delivery is probably overlooked a little bit at times. It was a great ball. He stood it up from the left-hand side, and then it was a great finish. And that's exactly what we needed. And that's exactly what we do need. We need goals from everywhere else. But he looked better off the ball as well. He was pressing. He was winning the ball like back forward. I think Decker talked about it on Monday, about actually Joelinton driving forward with the ball as well and like breaking on, not necessarily always winning the ball back and whatever else. He looked a bit more like that, like his own self as well. Had a point to prove. He got dropped from the Brazil squad, obviously beforehand. From a selfish point of view, I think it's probably the best thing that could happen to him because 2 weeks now, if I'm getting after Sunday, of actually getting him fit and fully fit and having that on the training ground is exactly what he needs. So really big positive for me. And he was probably the biggest positive I would say out of last night from the players who haven't really been playing well, who would need to step up. He did step up. He was lucky to stay in the team, but he rewarded Howe for his loyalty. And that's what Eddie Howe needed, to be fair. He needed somebody to come in and do that. And he did. So, I was over the moon for Joelinton, over the moon for us because, we need Joelinton playing really well. Because he gives us something different in the field, but he's the one that can probably score you a goal or two as well.
I'm going to go on to another big positive. You mentioned one big positive in Joelinton's performance. I've got another one. Lewis Hall getting minutes. He looked good when he came on. A bit rusty at the start when he came on. But as the game went on, he got a fair few minutes last night, more than I was expecting, to be fair. But you saw exactly what we need from our fullbacks when Hall came on. He looks dangerous. He always looks at carrying the ball infield. And I like that because he carries it in. He's got more opportunities to ping that ball on the next flank or just recycle it once again in midfield and him make a run in dangerous positions as well. I love Lewis Hall. I can't wait till he's fully fit, which leaves a huge decision for Eddie Howe in regards to what happens with his defensive line up. Is it just straight that Dan Burn is dropped completely, or do you mix up the centre back partnership, which has done so well this season? if my opinion on it, I think despite Dan Burn being a great footballer, like great centre back, and filling in at left back when called upon to a very good standard as well, I think it's Burn that gets dropped.
Yes, I probably would agree with that. But going back to my point earlier on, I think I said this before. Like, as a fan base, we're terrible for it. Like, if come Sunday, Lewis Hall started left back and Sven's out the team and Dan Burns started, everybody on Twitter would be Dan Burns dropped out the team, whatever else.
And it's
rotated. But you look at everybody else in the league, like Arsenal do it all the time. I think like they'll rotate players or they'll change it around a little bit. I know centre half's a bit of a difference, but as I said before, we play that many games and we've got that many games coming up. If we keep playing Sven and we keep playing Malik Thiaw, they'll get injured and we'll lose them for a month or 2 months. There's going to be times we just have to rotate them. We've got three really good centre halves and then Shaw, who's decent. Like, you've got to rotate that. But
I think you're doing him justice there. I think Fabian's a great centre half as well. You keep on saying three, maybe four. Fabian Shaw's a great centre half.
He's class on the ball. I just don't think defensively he gives you what those three do. Like, them three are beasts. Like, they're big, strong. They've got everything. Whereas I think Shaw is great on the ball. Really, like, he's probably the best we've got on the ball, to be fair. And he's decent defensively. I just don't think he's at their level. Because I genuinely believe the three of them. I mean, Dan Burns stopped playing for England. And the other two, I think, are two of the best centre-halves in the country this year. They've been absolutely tremendous. But going back to the original point, like Lewis Hall, he originally started off as a centre midfielder. When he plays, he kind of plays as that inverted, like, fullback. We just look so much better on the ball. I think if you're a winger in front of him, you're going to get so much more from Lewis Hall being in front of you. Like, you know he gets the ball and you can pick the pass. You can ping it to Voltemade or you can ping it down the line. Like, he takes the defender away. Dan doesn't do that with all the greatest respect. I mean, he was bombing on yesterday and he hit one from a weird angle that got a bit counted weird, to be fair, but I don't think it was that far.
I think that ended up in shark bar. That one that he hit. It went flying around the back of the goal.
We all laughed, I think, but I saw he scored his header and he hit that volley the other week. I think it's like, oh well, fair play, you can have that, Dan. But
that was a centre half's power shot. That's exactly what that was.
He strikes the ball, to be fair, to give it to him. But like Lewis Hall, we'll all forget, because when was the last time we had a fully fit Lewis Hall? Before the cup final?
Because he was on for player of the season for me last season up until he picked up that injury, because he had a fantastic season. Then obviously it's just before the cup final. Yeah, he picked up the injury.
And we haven't had him. But before then, like you say, we're all raving about him. He was starting for England. He was brilliant. And I think we've forgotten how actually good he is. Because then Tino came in and Tino was tremendous at left back. So
you're arguably a better left back than right back, Tino.
So you kind of forgot a little bit how good like Lewis was, but he came on last night and you can just see that team is so much more balanced when we've got him. We're a lot better in possession. He's got to come in the team. My big worry is, to be honest, and as I said to you before, I'd rotate the centre-halves. My big worry is that Howell skate away from the subject and he'll keep Dan in at left back, which isn't his best position. He doesn't want to play there, just to keep him in the team. Because I think Lewis Hall is I've met the kid and you speak to him. He's a really nice lad. He's really quiet. He's not the kind of player, I don't think, who goes and kicks a massive fuss. Like, I think it's easier to keep Lewis out of the team, but he's got to start. He has to start. If he's fit enough to start on Sunday, he's played 60 minutes for me, because he offers a lot more. We look a lot better team with him in it. So then you do what you have to do with centre half, but it's a shoe-in for me that he has to 100% come in and start a left back. I'm concerned. He'll not start on Sunday. There's definitely no chance he starts on Sunday. He then needs to come into the team and start getting 70, 80 minutes, and he needs to be playing every week.
People have probably realised that I've not mentioned a certain player so far. I think we've mentioned everybody apart from a certain player, because I didn't really want to take it down a negative route today, because it was such a great performance from the rest of the team last night. But for me, there's a huge question mark over Anthony Gordon and his performances at the moment. I know Eddie Howe said that he's picked up a hip injury. Well, apparently he's already had this hip injury and he's been fighting through it. Hence why he goes off at half time. He had a shocker last night. Terrible. Like, probably one of the worst performances I've seen from Gordon. He had a shocker. Everything he touched just did not work. Like, not once. And he really struggled throughout that game. No matter how many times he kept trying, he kept on passing the ball away. He kept on running into players. He kept on trying to take it past them and just failing on every single chance that he took. And you could see it was audibly getting not toxic, but you could hear people in the ground just huffing and puffing at Gordon when he was trying and losing the ball. And it got to the point where I thought, as soon as half time comes, he's not making it out for the second half, because we saw Eddie make big changes half time against West Ham. I thought, I am very, very surprised that Gordon, if he comes out at the second half, he picks up the injury just before half time, just a couple of moments before it, which is a forced substitution from Eddie Howe's point of view. He's not making it out for the second half.
No, I've got, I don't know, do you know what it is? I was a bit pissed off to say the least last night about that. On 2 points, to be honest, because first of all, look, he took him off on Sunday, and he said he took him off on Sunday because he was injured, because he's got a hip injury, hip complaint. Right. Okay, fair enough. Not playing very well at the moment. He was asked about it in the press conference, and he said he understands he's playing well in the Champions League. It's not because he's not trying, he's not doing it in the league. Right, I get it. But if he generally is injured, why on earth are we playing him last night?
You're rolling the dice, aren't you? To make it worse.
You're not doing him any favours if he generally is injured, because he's starting to get in the neck now. He's not obviously in the best of form anyway. You've got Harvey Barnes, who's jumping at the bit to start, who deserves a start. He scored 2 goals the other week. He's got an assist last night. Harvey Barnes should be playing on the left-hand side. Anthony Gordon should earn his place back in, but especially if he's not fit, he shouldn't be on the pitch. It's as simple as that. I don't know. Look, you don't want to throw players under the bus a little bit, but I wonder if he was playing a little bit better if he would have actually came off yesterday, or if that was his way of just saying, because you can feel it in the ground now. He doesn't help himself. He gives a ball. Look, if you're a winger, and wingers, it's very rare unless you're really Yamal or somebody that you're on it 9 games out of 10. You just don't. I can't remember any wingers in the history of Newcastle have ever been like that. Do you know what I mean? It's just the nature of playing out wide. But for me, it's you lose the ball, you run back.
Sure.
You track back. You go and help your fullback, and you try and win it back. I watched last night, and he did the same on Sunday. He's losing the ball, and he just flicks his hair back. She needs to get fucking cut, by the way. Flicks his hair back, and
every record you mention his hair.
Honestly, doesn't mind that, but it's just get back and work, Anthony. Win the ball back. I don't care. Keep going at your man. I'm never going to slag him off for having to go at his man or trying to beat a man or hitting a shot wide. That's fair enough. You might be in form or you're not. But when you haven't got the ball and you lose it, then you go and try and win it back. That's why I don't slag Elanga and that off that much. He loses the ball, but then he tries to win it back, and he's trying. I just question sometimes with Gordon, his effort levels.
It stands out like a sore thumb as well, doesn't it, Ben? The fact that you've got Byrne at left back behind him, and it stands out like a sore thumb that Dan Byrne's got 2 players running at him, and
all the time.
He's in the mindset of a centre back as well as a left back to try and cover what's happening.
Yeah.
And you're correct what you're saying. Gordon's 20 yards up the field, not just jogging back, if that, and that's why people are getting frustrated.
Yeah, if he was grafting back, look, I'll say it now. Anthony Gordon is an unbelievable footballer. He's got bags of ability. We need Anthony Gordon from 2 years ago. And I know I've heard Decker say this as well. It literally is now. It's 2 years ago since we actually saw that Anthony Gordon where he's flying, he's on form. But Anthony Gordon for England is excellent. And Anthony Gordon, a lot of the time in the Champions League, under the lights, is playing really well. I mean, he said after the last game, he said after the last game, I can really get up for these games. And, it's well, no, you need to get up for every game. This is, if you've got the ability that you've got, you need to consistently perform. I'm pretty sure he knows that. But my big thing to him would be help yourself and just graft. You won't get half the grief, or people will get behind you. If you lose the ball, if you're tracking back, and if you've got to come off after 60 minutes because you're knackered, then you come off after 60 minutes, and everybody will say, right, he's put a shift in. The rest will come. But the problem at the moment is he's not giving them anything going forward, and he isn't putting the graft in. And it stands out, like you say, like an absolute sore thumb, because you've got Dan Burn standing there, 2 players charging at him all the time. So, yeah, he was terrible. I think now is the time. It's International Week coming up. you cannot start Anthony Gordon on Sunday. If he says he's fit, he cannot start on Sunday.
You take that out of his hands. Like that decision's not up to him. Even if he says he's fit, it's not up to him. That's up to Eddie Howe to make that choice.
He's got it. Even when he is fit, earn your place back in the team. If I'm Harvey Barnes now, I'd be saying that I've just got an assist, scored 2 the other week. I want to run in the team. And if you had Eddie Howe, I'd be saying to him, go on, win the place. And then Anthony Gordon, if you want your place back, when you come on, you go and earn it and you win it back. Because we've got competition everywhere, right? And we'll have definitely got competition on that left-hand side. Like you say, it was a great ball from Barnes yesterday. He got an assist. So for me, he's your left winger going forward until Gordon proves that he's not.
I don't think we can argue against that. And I think the majority of people that watch and or listen probably will agree because, like we've mentioned a couple of times, that it's becoming more obvious in St. James's Park at away grounds across the country as well that the fan base isn't turning on Gordon, but they're getting annoyed with his attitude and performances of late. But we'll end it there. On a positive note, it's a great result for Newcastle. That's what was 6th in the table now for Champions League. 9 points out of 12, which is fantastic. I think we'll have to look at the possibility that I think we're probably qualified really for the next round, really, where you might see once again more rotation in the Champions League games because we'll have that luxury. The more points on the board, you get those luxuries towards the last couple of games that you're going to be playing. So I wouldn't be shocked to see if that happens and basically we'll go into those Premier League games ready to go with a fully fit starting 11. Because we need to start putting points on the board in the Premier League as well. And a great opportunity to do that at the weekend against Brentford. We need points. We need points on the board because I do not like our league position right now. And I don't like our performances right now in the Premier League either. It seems like it's two different teams that we're talking about when we're doing these match reactions or match previews. You come to a Champions League game and you're thinking, well, no, we'll be all right. Like, we've thrown already in Champions League that we'll do well. Very unlucky against Barcelona not to get anything from that as well. Then you go into the Premier League games and you know for fine well it's going to be a struggle. And I can't figure it out. Eddie Howe's got a big job in his hands trying to get the mentality of the team ready and treat every single game like the last one. Like, you just have to. And it's become frustrating as a fan base, especially. I think it's probably just on the back of what we saw against West Ham. Getting beat 3-1 by bloody West Ham was a disgrace. But we've got an opportunity. Eddie Howe mentioned last night it was good to get a reaction from that game. Then obviously pick up the results last night against Bilbao. But I want the reaction to roll over into the next Premier League game. That's crucial, that we don't just have these spells in midweek games where we'll put in a great performance, get a great result. Then you just fall into the weekend and it's flat. Like, we can't do that. Because that league will slowly start to swallow us up and we will just disappear in that horrible position between like sort of 8th and 13th, like that horrible little patch, that mini league that Rafa used to talk about a lot. That's where we'll end up if we don't pull the socks up and start picking up results. Anything to add?
Chris, like on that, like you're right what you're saying. Like, take the league aside, we're in a League Cup quarter final with a home draw. I'd expect like who will be favourites to go on and win. I'm trying to be positive here, and we could be in a semi-final of a cup again. We're 6th in the Champions League with some winnable games to come. Like, we're near enough qualified, like you say, but it's very possible that we'll get a couple more wins that will finish in the top 8. So it'll be the last 16s there to be had in the Champions League. The league is not being good enough, like you're saying. But if we win on Sunday, and let's be positive, look, we've just won there now. If we win on Sunday, we'll probably only be 3 to 5 points, maybe max, off a Champions League place. Like, that's not a bad position to be in. We've got the best squad we've ever had. Generally, like, there's a lot to play for, but like you're saying, look, we need to do it on Sunday. Go win on Sunday, and the season could look very, very different. We're in a cut, like as I say, there's a positive still to take from the season. We're doing really well in everything bar the league. We just need to go win on Sunday, like you say, and I think we can.
Especially heading in that international break as well.
Yes, massive game on Sunday.
You don't want to end that on a sour note. Of course not. You want to pick up points just before that break comes along. But thanks everybody who has been watching or listening to this one. I've enjoyed this one. It's nice talking about a decent result. It's been a little while. But yeah, thanks everybody. If you are watching on YouTube, become a subscriber. It doesn't cost you anything to do that, and you get access to the majority of the videos that we'll put out. If you do want a little bit extra, it is just $2.99 a month to become a member. You get early access to videos. You get extra extra videos. You get some daft ones as well, which aren't even football related, that me and the lads from the Monday show get involved with as well. But yeah, help us out massively if you were to do that. Like I said, it is just starting from $2.99 a month, and I think in total at the minute, Ben, I think we're putting about 7 or 8 videos out a week. It's constant. I've just released a podcast as well, which is available to everybody on your usual podcast platforms. It's basically our match day podcast. It just follows me heading to the ground, interview a couple of people. Like Decker is involved, Scott's there as well, just on the build up to the game. A couple of moments throughout the game as well, which get recorded as well, and thoughts at full time. It's a nice little 10-11 minute recording it is. But thanks everybody, we'll see you next time.